Okay, make sure this thing's on. Yep. Okay. Hi guys, hello, Merry meets everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene, and today we have a nice cool breeze brought to you by the remnants of Hurricane Jose, which is going towards Martha Vineyards and Nantucket. It's not going to affect my part of this country, my part of the state. But of course, it probably will have an impact on Maine as well. So let me go ahead and explain how we're going to do this. Because today I wanted to talk about a few things. And I know last time I did the live stream, we talked about a whole bunch of different things, including things like, yesterday we talked about wisdom versus knowledge. And I wanted to also take some time to talk to you about other things as well. So I want to make sure that this thing is set so that, now, I don't necessarily expect to be getting questions because I wasn't expecting to do questions. I was even considering doing a taped one instead of a live stream, but I figured, why the hell? Why not? You know, we're already here, and I figured that we could go ahead and get some news. And so let's start with first of all getting the weather forecast. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I really have not mastered the Android phone to get the weather forecast correctly. So we'll use our little BlackBerry to do that. And we have the Android phone here to actually take the questions. And this way, everybody is in good stand. And we got a couple things to discuss as well. So let's start with right now. The weather forecast is right now. Right now, it is 22 degrees. It says it's a light rain. It may be a late summer, but it certainly is overcast where I am right now. The winds are northeast at 24 kilometers per hour. The humidity is 78%. It's the breeze. I like this breeze very much. It's really nice. The UV index is low. The dew point is 18 degrees Celsius. Sunrise this morning was at 6:37 p.m. Sunset tonight will be at 6:54. Looking at the forecast for the next few days, you know, the weather changes so quickly. See, right now it's 19th. It was the expected low tonight will be 17 degrees. Wednesday, September 20th, it'll be a high at 23, a low of 16, 20% chance of precipitation. Thursday, September 21st, which is technically is Mabon, and that will be a high of 26, a low of 13, a 10% chance of precipitation. And Friday will be hot or warm again, a high of 25 degrees, a low of 12, mostly sunny with 0% chance of precipitation. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty much yeah. Now, somebody asked me one time is if I look at my phone too much. Well, you know what? Yes, I do. I'll tell you why. Ever since I found out that I could now read the questions, if I choose to, during the non-Sunday live streams, I figured, why the hell not? At least it puts my, the phone Dory gave me to work, and, it keeps things simple, and we're still using our T-Mobile MiFi to do most things. And we get two connections, which is mostly the BlackBerry and the internet thingus, or the camera. Alright, the first thing is, everybody's asking about the barbecue on the porch. I decided it was not worth doing anymore because of the fact that there was a lack of safety protocols. And I decided that it is just not worth the risk of getting myself evicted from my apartment because something goes wrong. So, no, we're not doing that anymore. It's not worth it. The second thing is that Dory's little table she was using, it really was not appropriate for this. She should be using this table here, which is much more solid. But she couldn't use this table because I had the camera on it. And obviously we found out what happens if the camera gets too close to the grill. It causes it to overheat and shuts down. So that's not going to work either. So no, definitely not worth it. Cooking on an open fire on a porch. And then there's also the soot issue. You can sort of see the soot on the ceiling. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. The white soot, or the white smoke, is left its little telltale trails. Not worth it. Just not worth it at all. Never mind the fire safety issue. The fact is that people who can get really seriously hurt, it's not worth it. Cooking out on the parking lot could be done, but then again, you're still going to have the same issue of someone's going to have to sit there and babysit the fire while someone runs up and downstairs to grab the condiments and things like that. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. That just sucks, okay? So nobody wants to do it. You can feel that when the wind is picking up quite a bit here, where I'm sitting. And, oh yes, the little kitty cat. I showed you her. Come here. Her name is Dusty. Okay, she's a cute little thing. She's a little girl kitty. How you doing, little kitty? How you doing today? Yeah. She's not my cat. But she is Rusty's daughter. She's one of she's one of his many kittens he has fathered in his career. Of course, now he's fixed, but he still loves his kitties very much, and he still watches over them. He's also gotten fat as a house as well. So yeah, it's not really. I'm not going to publish this video until I'm done because I want to rename it first. Makes it easier for everybody. I received an email again from Yahoo telling me that tomorrow is officially the last day that I will receive mail through their IMAP server on my iPhone 4S. It's a funny thing is it never said that the IMAP server will stop working with my BlackBerry, which I found very funny, that my BlackBerry will continue to receive Yahoo Mail, whereas my iPhone 4S will not. But, okay, fine. If that's the way you want to do it, Yahoo, if you really, really want to definitely obsolete yourself, which you already are obsolete anyway, you become kind of a memory for so many people after your situation with your Yahoo Messenger, after all the spammers and Nigerian scammers used to cause trouble, after you basically found yourself in financial disarray because of your policies, that has resulted in everybody going to Google and basically leaving you as a ghost town. That's fine with me. If that's what you want to do, if you really want to lose another user, just go ahead and keep what you're doing, Yahoo. And don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. Because, frankly, I don't use your services anymore. You are not my search engine anymore. I don't use your news site anymore. And I find that it's really disingenuous that you really don't even want our patronage to receive mail anymore. It just tells me that you are basically circulating the drain of obsolescence. Just like Excite, WebCrawler, and AltaVista. I actually liked WebCrawler, and I actually liked Excite, and I did like AltaVista. But you know what? Yahoo, you are a memory. You are a distant memory, like wet plate photography. Nobody's going to remember you anymore. The day's going to come when they're going to say, Yahoo? Who the hell is that? It's like I said, do you remember Caldors? You know, no one, most of my generation remember Caldors, which was a local department store chain, regional chain here in New England. And as long ago went tits up. A lot of the stores were bought by Ames, which also went tits up. Which Ames also originally bought out Grants, or Kings, which bought out Grants, which bought You see what I'm saying? All right, so the whole story is just going to be another story in the annals of history because of their policy. And if that's what you want to do, if that's what you consider to be a great way of doing things, well, that's fine with me. But you know what? As far as I'm concerned, Yahoo, you can go ahead and basically turn off your servers, close the door, put a big lock on it, board up the windows, and say, bye-bye. Okay, because nobody wants you anymore. If you really think that by telling us your last harbingers, the ones that have stuck with you through your mail server, despite all the bullshit, you gotta throw us out in the cold because you're trying to push the idea of forcing us to upgrade our IMAP clients by upgrading to a new version of iOS. And as Chris Perillo has demonstrated, since iOS 7.0, Apple can't even seem to get it done correctly with iOS repairs and maintenance. This is not a solution from me, and it's not a solution from the other people who rather use your services, okay? But if that's how you want to do it, fine, okay? As I said, don't let the door hit you in the ass and the way out, Yahoo. Okay? It was nice knowing you, pal, but that's it, you know? Maybe once they realize that there's a whole bunch of iOS users that refuse to upgrade for reasons that has nothing to do with Yahoo, and has simply enough to do with the fact is that Apple can't seem to fix its bugs in its iOS versions to save its own life. Okay, I mean, iOS 11 has probably got the same damn bugs in it as iOS 10 does, which has the same ones as iOS 9 and all its subversions, and iOS 8 and all its subversions, and iOS 7 and all its subversions. Please, gag me with a fucking pitchfork. You can't even get it right, Apple, either. Same as you, okay? Before you start telling your most loyal, at least willing to keep you an open eye, that you guys are wanting to tell us to go, you know, that we don't want our patronage. Well, that's just disgusting. But you know what? That's the way it's going with Yahoo anyway. They're already going down. They're already going down in the annals of history as a has-been. Same thing with Toys R Us. Toys R Us has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy because of the fact is that they, as a toy store chain, they're doing really not that well. They're hoping that this Christmas is going to be good, but you know what? It's just an example of the retail apocalypse that we see every day. It's just stores are just not making it. Not even Walmart is having hard times coping with Amazon. And Walmart is a bigger chain. It's like the little fish gets swallowed by the bigger fish, which gets swallowed by the bigger fishes. And speaking of fishes being swallowed by fishes, Sprint and T-Mobile are at it again for another merger. Come on, please, T-Mobile, don't do this to us. Don't do this to us. We don't need this. This is the kind of BS that makes me want to throw a simian wrench at you. I don't understand why you're so gung-ho of trying to become merged with a tiny, crappy CDMA provider. It's not going to give you any additional towers because guess why? You've already got the tower coverage in those areas that Sprint had. You're already going to have the same access to the same licensing that Sprint has. Maybe in a few small towns you might be able to go ahead and set them up as a GSM LTE tower. But seriously? It makes no sense to do that. It's just a colossal waste of money. If the Federal Trade Commission allows you to be purchased, purchase Sprint, more of the luck, except I will probably be one of the many people, just like with Yahoo, that quietly packs my shit and walks out the door. And that's going to be bad for you because I like your service. I like the package I have. I'm grandmothered. I have a package from my BlackBerry. I have a package from my hotspot I like very much. For $82.90, I get unlimited Wi-Fi, unlimited binge on, plus I have you know, I can stream and receive, watch all the YouTube videos I want, and it doesn't go against my binge on data stash, which is great, because I really think that would be really shameful that you're going to do that. But you know what? Go ahead. Just make my day. You think it's going to be better when all of your loyal, long-term customers who personally has a little bit of a personal animosity towards spend walk away from you and tell you we're not interested? Now, it's kind of an example of what I'm talking about as far as stupid goes, okay? But you know what? These big companies are not thinking about you and me. They're thinking about their own profit lines, and that's the sad truth. It's also true with Google as well. Google Alphabet, which is now the parent company's called Alphabet. I don't know why they renamed it, but that's the way they do things these day and age. They rename everything. Everybody comes home with these strange, weird names, and everybody seriously wonders what in the hell's going on. Now, so let's take a look at some other things right now. Let's see, I got a message here right here. Nothing new here. Just some junk mail from Yahoo. Same old crap. Well, that's one thing that Yahoo is the reason that's killing Yahoo is it's become a honeypot for spam. Okay. Everybody who knows that will tell you that. By the way, so what is going on with the ad apocalypse with YouTube? Well, I'm not really sure, but I'll tell you what I do know is that my AdSense is not really bringing any money in at all right now. It's bringing in barely anything, but oh well, that happens. I guess it's just the way it is. I will keep appealing every time they say my videos are not advertiser friendly. They certainly are. I will do my best to keep the language clean. I will do my best to keep things in good taste as I can. And I'm not saying I'm not going to experiment with some new ideas here and then, such as eating Doritos on the couch. That was an experiment. It didn't really do too bad, but I think it kind of alienated some of my viewers. And, you know, we're trying some new ideas. Me and Dory both want to try to get more people to watch the videos. And as you can guess, the wind is picking up right now. The wind is picking up very much quick because we can tell, you can feel the outer bands of Jose as he slowly comes in up here into the eastern seaboard, but he's not actually physically going to have hurricane strength, as I said, coming into Connecticut, mostly in eastern Rhode Island, Martha's Vineyard in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. So this, Pawtucket and Nantucket. You guys are going to get it, the hurricane stuff. But it's by the time it gets to you guys, it'll probably be a Category 1, maybe even a strong tropical storm. But still, the winds, I can feel them right now. I realize it makes sense to leave the windows open and get some fresh air in the house and air it out. Now, let's see. We got a message just popped in. What's the topic? Well, that's a good question, CP. What is the topic is going to be is just reporting what's going on with Yahoo News, with the fact is that older iPhones will no longer be receiving emails if your iOS is older than 8.3. Plus, I explained that the older Yahoo's already circling the drain. I also mentioned that Toys R Us is already filing for bankruptcy. I also briefly addressed the fact is that the Hurricane Jose, which is still going to be a tropical hurricane by the time it gets into Martha's Vineyard and into Nantucket, Massachusetts. But right now we have the outer bands of the winds right here in Connecticut where I am, and the winds are picking up. The temperatures are very refreshing at this point. Get good airflow. We're also going to discuss something else too. I wanted to discuss a little bit about Asperger's and autistic spectrum because of the I mentioned yesterday about wisdom and knowledge, and I wanted to talk about that as well as how do Asperger's people with Asperger's slash high functioning autistic spectrum see the world around us. And also answer a mysterious question. One thing the Injured Mind mentioned was about Aspie hair. I actually didn't think I was ever going to do a video on Aspie hair. I did one before. I'll do it again. He says, he's from Sweden, he says, something about Aspies in her hair. He said, we just can't seem to get it to lay right, no matter what we do. And that's very interesting. She says, oh dear, we love vacationing in Martha's Vineyard. Well, yeah, I've never been in Martha's Vineyard, but I know that's where Giant Swords creator Michele, is that Kahula? Is that how you pronounce your name? Makes his swords, his custom-made swords. But let me focus back on the other thing. So, let me just answer that real quick. Is Martha's Vineyard going to be really damaged? I don't know. It's going to be a Category 1, maybe a very strong tropical storm by the time it gets into Martha's Vineyard. So, we'll have to play it by ear and see what happens. It's actually, the storm is actually going to come in to Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. Maybe later tonight, early tomorrow morning, which is Wednesday. So we'll have to see what happens. The Aspies, do we have hair that doesn't lay flat? Well, let me look at my picture. Yeah, you know what? We do. We have this strange hair. Some of us do. Like you see my two wisps, they hang out here and here. It's just not bit of my hair. I have several Asperger's and the hair is fine. Well, that may be. That may be. Just might be some of us who just get weird hair. Michelle's hair always laid like that. It always laid like that. Even as a kid, yes. And it's kind of become kind of my style. Even though when they ask my hairdresser, is it the style? She's like, no, not really. It's just you. It's like, it's kind of my style. It's just me. So, okay. First of all, let's talk about the personalities of people with Asperger's, high-functioning autism. Because they took on the American Psychiatric Association, under the Diagnostics and Statistical Manual, they took Asperger's out and merged it with autistic spectrum. We are considered high-functional autistic spectrum. And what that means is that I don't think it helped us any. And since it just kind of pigeonholes us into a box that's got a lot of wide-ranging possible types of conditions that could result or be indicative of Asperger's. But one thing is true about Asperger's people is some of us get really overwhelmed really easily. A lot of us are independent workers and independent thinkers. We don't necessarily always do groups as groups of things. Unless it's another Asperger sufferer, Aspie, or high-functioning autistic. Sometimes, because the way we're out in the fringe, we tend to think a certain way and a certain mentality, and we do these really neat stuff. And we tend to do really weird collections and hobbies. I mean, I noticed that there's a few autistic spectrum people on YouTube, and they get hobbies that are extremely unusual, but they're extremely smart about their hobbies. One guy, for example, collects light bulbs, all kinds of light bulbs. Incandescent, high pressure sodium, low pressure sodium, mercury vapor, metal halide, incandescence, fluorescence, bulbs of every conceivable color, shape. And there's something about light bulbs that he finds turns him on, no pun intended. But for me, my thing is I like to study knowledge and learn new things. A lot of Asperger's people do. We love studying. We love it. Thanks to the internet, has made our lives easier to research things and learn new things. However, However, one of the things that I learned with my Asperger's is when it comes to working as a team with average, what they call neurological typical people. I mean, that's the most everyday person under the standard bell-shaped curve. We tend to either A, rather go ahead, withdraw, and go and do it ourselves because we prefer to work on our own pace. Or if we do try to work with other people, sometimes our knowledge gets in the way with social skills. We miss cues. Now, if you're legally blind and have Asperger's, well, now, you're going to miss even more cues than if you are 20/20 sighted Asperger's. And so, for some of us, we find the social interaction with everyday people to be a bit of a challenge. In fact, it can become so stressful that some of us kind of withdraw and shut down. And by the way, what is the solution for a person with Asperger's in that case? More questions. So let's go. The main thing I noticed is their complete lack of social skills and their inability to accept criticism. They tend to interrupt lectures by just blurting out random things. Yep, that's Michele. But Michele does accept criticism. Usually. Yeah, usually. But one of the things about Aspies is we are extremely knowledgeable in our very narrow fields of study. We are, for example, if you ask an Aspie who is, say, for example, a Star Trek fan, he could probably tell you every single episode, especially if you watch the old series, he could tell you every single episode, every single plotline, every single year that the original airing of the show was, the name of the original actors and actresses, and tell you why the reality of the plot would never work in real world. Again, there's that knowledge thing. That's not wisdom, but that's the knowledge thing, okay? When it comes to knowledge, Aspies are the data sponges of the universe. We just soak it up. And unfortunately, well, sometimes we soak up information that isn't so good. And like one commercial jokingly says, you can't put the sponge in the dishwasher. She was talking about her children in terrible TV shows, because kids absorb information so quickly, and bad information can contaminate the minds, and it's true. But most people with Asperger's will research a topic to death. If you let them freely do the thing, but that doesn't work out, as CP points out, in a university setting, because it doesn't. It screws up their whole entire curricula. It totally just overwhelms the instructors. These are the kind of kids that really do great in like an independent study course, where they can do their own thing and work on it at their own pace. But as I said, in your typical university, that's not that. And most instructors in most universities, as well as most high school and public schools and primary schools, would tell you the same thing. It's really hard in a class setting when working with people with Asperger's, because we just do that. It's not that we mean to be that way. It's just we are so independent that when you try to put us in with everyday kids or older students, we kind of get thoroughly bored, because the teacher is going at a normal pace for those students, and we're like the racehorses. We're like, come on, baby, feed me, I want more data, I want more facts. And we'll be reading like 3 or 4 chapters ahead of the textbook. We know that sounds stupid, but that's the way we are. And it's hard for the instructions in school, because that reason they can't always do it successfully. How can I help these students take critical reviews of the work? How can we take critical reviews of the work? Well, I think the first thing is that's a good question. I mean, how you approach that student is number one. They are not the kind of people who just accept the answer just because. They want to know why. Okay, so let's talk. We're talking about the barbecue grill thing. Okay, I'm going to use this as an example because it's a good example. Let's say the fire marshal came up here and said, "You can't have that thing on the grill on the porch." And I asked him why. He says, "Just because I said so." That ain't going to work. You know what? Because we want to know why that is. Not just because I said so. We don't have a lack of respect for the people who are our authorities. We just want to know the reason. Of course, I kind of figured it out on my own. It's a hazard. That's why we said at the beginning of the video, we're not doing any more barbecue in this porch. Ain't worth it. Well, it's the same way when if you're talking to a student about a class assignment, and you think there's a problem with what they're doing, and you want to address it to them so that they can make corrections, especially if it's like a graduate student and he's working on his doctoral thesis. The first thing is as a thesis advisor, you need to realize that using that authority tone as says, "just because I said so," is going to get the equivalent of the drawbridge slammed in your face. We're going to yank the chains up and we're going to slam it shut. It's because we have been talked down to so many times as kids, and we don't want that. We like to be talked to as if we're equals. So let's say, for example, like I said with the fire marshal, so he says to me, let's say I was a little bit dense. I'm not dense. I'm actually very smart. And I realized on my own that was a bad idea. But let's say he said to me, because if that thing tips over, those hot coals could catch the porch on fire, and then we're going to have a bigger problem than if you had cooked in the parking lot from the beginning. That's criticism. I can live with that. I can understand that. I mean, because like I said, I'm not dense. I'm not thick as a brick. Okay? So the most important thing is if you want to try to get people with Asperger's to take criticism, is to remember that they like to be given a more thorough answer than just because I'm your teacher and I said that your paper, your test score is not appropriate, your answer to your question is wrong. Now let's say, for example, it was an essay question and they came up with an answer that's really unusual. Maybe you should ask the student, why did you give this answer? Well, I mean, maybe there's a reason. Maybe they thought, in their way their mind thinks, that was a good answer. It may not be, but it's not the point. Ask them. They usually will tell you, and sometimes they may not always be eloquent speakers, but most of them are, especially high functioning. Most of us are very eloquent speakers. The problem is we also tend to talk about a lot of very large words. I swear to God, some people think I swallow the lexicon of the language I use. And in normal circumstances, I can bury you in fancy words easily. And it's like you probably think, what did you do, swallow the Oxford Dictionary? No, but because I love to read a lot of books and writings that uses very complicated sentence structures. Plus, I study foreign languages. Plus, I watch movies in foreign languages. And I don't even speak the languages. And I'm learning the languages from watching the movies and things like that. That's another thing some aspects are good at, is that certain things we can pick up really good. Some of us are what they call savants. And everybody talks about savants, they usually talk about the math whizzes. But there are savants that have nothing to do with math at all. For example, you could be a music savant. You could probably, for example, you might know Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, first, second, third, and fourth movements completely by heart, and probably could hum it perfectly. Whereas some of us are savants in other ways. For example, in my case, is technical fields, such as video and audio equipment. And we are sneaky about perfection. We do not like any compromises. So Okay, now let's get back to some question. She says, I tend to have these students meet me privately as they tend to argue. The projects are usually to apply theory to real life. Well, that's a good idea. Definitely, because if you have them meet with you in private, they're arguing you not because they're trying to challenge your authority, but because they want to have that dialogue. Most of the time, they just like, as I said, they like to be treated as equals. So when they get if you get like into like a fire marshal example, and they get a little bit angry with you and get a little snippy with you, if you give them, for example, a reason why their answer is not such a good answer, maybe if you let them express why they thought their answer was a good answer, then maybe they might just be willing to look at your side of the picture as well. That's just the way it is. So I want them to figure out why their approach is flawed. Yes, exactly. You gotta let them work on it. You gotta let them think about it. And so, as I said, sometimes in an academic situation, that's not always so easy because, like I said, you got in the university environment, or high school, or public school, or primary school, you got all these students you're trying to teach a certain curricula, and you're just not gonna be able to do the things like you do with the average person, what we call the neurotypically normal person. As I said, Aspies and high-functioning autistics are their own low 5%, percentile in the upper of the bell-shaped curve, the upper 5% percentile. They're their own drummers. They got their own beat. They got their own way of doing things. It's the same with me. So when I do these videos, my videos, if I do my videos like this one here, which is definitely a very different video than with the barbecue one. I thought the barbecue one was so friggin' contrived. I really hated it because, Aspies also tend to hate stupidity. Now, I don't mean they hate the stupid people, but they hate stupid concepts. For example, that's one of the reasons why when Dory was trying to cook on the barbecue and she was getting all angry because I was telling her that she had made the fire wrong and the fire was burning out of control. I was like, she's like, I think she had aspbergers too, but it's in a different field than me. She would be a great game tester, but me, I'm not into games. Just trying to deal with everyday life is as a challenge as it is. So yeah, it's definitely different for us. So we're in the upper 5% percentile and the asymptotic bell-shaped curve. Some of us, we're definitely are genius or borderline genius. We're not stupid. Okay, that's another thing too. Sometimes, some people, the minute they hear the word autism, they think we're mentally retarded. That's the farthest thing from the truth. I'm not mentally retarded. In fact, my IQ is pretty good. I don't remember what the number was, but it was pretty high. I mean, it was like 175, 180. I'm not stupid. But remember, that has to do with knowledge and somewhat of wisdom. Remember, IQ is not necessarily the real world numbers, but trust me, you've got 180 IQ. Trust me, you've obviously got something going on upstairs. That's where knowledge is, but it's how you put the knowledge to work. So, people with Asperger's, like I said, are usually used to doing things by themselves because, like you said, they don't take criticism. They can't. They don't know how. How do you? Because so many people talk down at us, and they make us feel like, gee, I'm a dunce. No, I'm not a dunce. Stop talking down at me, teacher. I gave the answer I gave because I felt it was the right answer. So if I thought it was the right answer and you say it's not, please explain why. Don't tell me because I said so, or that's because the textbook says so. No, tell me. Explain it to me. And I had plenty of my own conversations with my own professors in college. Same thing. Explain it to me, Mr. Carlos. Why I have to take this class to get this diploma from my associate's degree when I'm not even in that field? Then they explain to me, well, because it'll help you to give you some additional skills that'll help to further your education. He says, you love learning. He said, I would think that you'd be jumping up excited to take, trigonometry and all that. I tried trigonometry, I flunked it. But you know what? It's because, well, maybe it's because of my eyesight, but the whole idea of sines, cosines, angles, and all this stuff is like, yeah! I don't really get it. I know what a right triangle is. I know what an equilateral triangle is. I don't know what an isosceles triangle is, but frankly, it's just, to me, is just, it's too visual. I think that's why I had a hard time with the trigonometry. But I took the class. Did I feel I learned anything? Well, at least I know what sine, cosine, and tangents are now, but that's about it. But I still remember anything of them. But that's a whole other story. We know that the ratios of degrees or radians. All right, so it said, I'd rather have someone with common sense more than a high IQ. Well, the thing is that with people, unfortunately, they have no control over their IQ. It just is the way they are. I mean, it's easy to say, hi, Russ. My kitty cat's coming over here. Come on. You gonna come up in the camera today? I'm sorry I kicked you off last time. I thought you were gonna block my view. No, I guess not. Like I said, people would ask, you can't really help if you get a high IQ student. It's great if everybody was what they call neurologically typical and within the standard bell-shaped curve of the 95th percentile, because that most everybody is used to having a leader and a follower. Most Aspies are neither one. If they're going to do anything, they're going to be more of the leader. But when it comes to being a follower, Asperger's people are not followers. I'm sorry. I tried it. I worked as a group in college, and all that happened was I ended up doing the whole group's project by myself. And, of course, that really got my professors all upset, because it's like, you did all the assignment for the group by yourself. That's not what the thing was supposed to be about. And it was like, I couldn't really explain why I felt that I had to take on the whole project by myself. It's just something we do. I know that doesn't make any sense, but yeah, we do that. Okay. Let me just check if your camera's still working. Yes, it is. I'm making sure everything's still going good. Oh, yes. Another thing, too, about Aspies is we tend to do what you call self-stimulation or self-stimming. Self-stimming is like we're always fidgeting. That's why they came up with these things called fidget spinners and fidget cubes. If you ever see me over here on the table, you see me fondling a phone, you'll see me fondling my MiFi, somehow I'll be fumbling with something background, and you may not see. That's just because of self-stimulation. It's just the way we are. It's not necessarily means we're bad or good. Okay, but now let's talk about how does an Asperger benefit with YouTube. One of the things with Asperger's is two things. One, as a YouTube producer, we get a chance to show you what we have, what we know, what we're good at, the things that we love to do. And we may even be able to explain why we do the things that we do. For a YouTube consumer or watcher, there are some videos that really, really get us all excited. And there's some videos that we just find bore us to tears. Lately I've been watching a lot of videos that have nothing to do with news. One of the things is called the hydraulic press channel. Now, the idea of a 140-ton hydraulic press crushing things may not really be exciting. And you know what? Technically, it's not. It's just that we kind of ask ourselves, the question is, what can't that thing crush? Okay? That's the first thing. And second thing is, how does it manage using the laws of fluid dynamics to develop 140 tons of pressure and crush things? So there's a mathematical equation in there, and of course, you know, us aspies, we love to think. We love it. To us, thinking is as important as breathing. If we gave us anything, that's one of the reasons why a lot of aspies are self-starters. We tend to do things that we love, and I always believe that you should be doing the things that you love anyway. But that's one reason why aspies do things that we do, because we love doing them. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be something that's going to guarantee to bring home a paycheck. But there's another issue too. A lot of aspies, money to us is a tool, like a screwdriver. It helps us to obtain the things that we need. We don't see money as it ends. We don't hoard dollars, or British pounds, sterling, or whatever. We tend to see money like a tool, like a screwdriver, a wrench, a pair of pliers. Also, you know, so when we see people talking about how I'm going to get ahead by trying to outbid my competition is something else that most Asperger's people do not know anything about. We don't really do it. We don't believe in competition. That's why so many of us do not really get into the sports thing for the competition's sake. For us, we know it's you know, in the case of sports, we know it's a game. We know it's kind of you know, we know that the neurologically typical people love sports. And we know that they love the competition. But for us, majority of us are like, who cares? But then again, when it comes to the statistics part, a lot of aspies will be creaming their underwear because they can learn the statistics, for example, how many runs batted in by one particular baseball player, or how many successful home runs in a season, or things like that, or you know, how many games did this person win, how many games did this person lose. In the case of football, how many touchdowns did this quarterback make and his team. We could probably tell you the time and day when he made those the perfect forward pass. I just know this stuff because I hear other aspies talk about it. I don't really care about sports, but that's the stuff that they study. And me, not really. I tell you what gets me excited is what I'm doing right now, is getting a chance to share my thoughts with you. She says, okay. Then she says, oh, come on now. You are a classic cognitive miser when it comes to Trump. I really didn't want to get into the political stuff because I wanted to keep this kind of political free. But I will say this much. Donald Trump is doing a good job. I watched his speech to the United Nations and General Assembly, and it was it was 45 minutes long. It was very detailed, and he did a wonderful job expressing eloquently with the things that he felt that the United Nations needs to focus on. But, by the way, let's talk about that. Can a person with Asperger's be a social figure? Most of the time, I would think that since that's a social environment, they tend to kind of want to stay more in the shadows. They don't really get into the pomp and circumstances of being in the media and the newspapers. We're very quiet people. We're thinkers. And we're self-starters. And we do things our own way. And that's just the way we are. But we will, of course, want to be aware of the world around us. But we don't tend, some of us are more social than others, that's true. You do have a few Asperger's people who are into knowledge and information. But then you also got a couple that are like, you know, it doesn't really matter to me one way or the other. But knowledge to me is important, so I love studying. But anyway, it's getting late, and we've been doing this now for, let's see, how long have we been shooting this for? We've been shooting this now for 50 minutes and 20 seconds. It's about time to wrap it up, so let's do this. Please do not forget, yes, I will be here tomorrow on live stream again. Why don't we actually tape them anymore? Well, we could. I just didn't want to tape it because it's difficult sometimes to tape it. And then I got to upload them. And then I got to still add in all the descriptions and all the titles and all the footers and all the... and we already have a boilerplate for the live stream, so it's just easy to just fill in the blanks and get them out the door. That's what we do. But anyway, please understand officially that we will be having our live stream on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That means, of course, if you are registered with YouTube or Gmail, you can, of course, join the chat. And I'm welcoming everybody. Yes, even the trolls are welcome to come in. I don't mind the trolls. Sometimes it gets very fun with the trolls. I have to admit, sometimes it gets a little bit discommoding with the trolls, but they are people, and they certainly have the right to partake of the shows. And I do welcome you. It's a lot better than watching paint. It's certainly a lot more exciting than watching paint dry, especially when you're sitting there and you're stymied for a topic and you're like, gee, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to be sitting here for at least half an hour. Gee, what am I supposed to discuss? And then you start getting off on tangents and you start self-stimming, grabbing your cell phone and fondling your phone and playing with your BlackBerry or whatever. And they can just go ahead and go. When I get questions coming in, I know that when I look at the phone, I say, like we're doing right now, this is the CP's questions that she's asking me here. So, and this is the reason why we can do this. I don't want to block anybody. I accidentally pressed black. I don't want to block anybody. So it's really, really a major excitement to have everybody participate. So, of course, we will do another tomorrow. Either tape it or... Because, the weather is going to be nice for the next few days. And we will go ahead and do it in the studio again. I haven't done one inside in a while, so yeah, maybe it might be nice to go inside and do an indoor one. And so what I'm going to do is let me wrap this up and thank all those who watched this, both live and after live. Please do not be afraid to leave comments in the comment section below, and do not forget to click on the subscribe NASQ. That's the square on this side right here. Yeah, right here. Okay, I keep forgetting. I have to look at my phone and remember I'm looking at it from this side. So right here, right near my arm, my left arm here, will see subscribe NASQ. Click on that, and click on the subscribe button, and click on the little bell icon so you will stay connected and receive notifications when we do another live stream. And that would be fantastic to have you here on the show. And of course, when you receive notifications, you'll know when we're live again, so you know when to jump in, which may not always be convenient for you, because depending on when I do these live streams. But we know the Sunday is guaranteed always going to be at 6 o'clock, unless some major horrible weather event or some medical emergency or some terrible, horrible thing happens and we're not able to live stream. By the way, there's a concept that was some Christian numerologist brought up. I just want to bring this up real quickly because I think this is kind of bordering on inanely stupid. Saying that the last day of Earth will be September 23rd, 2017. Why? He says that, well, the planet Nibiru is going to smash the Earth. Excuse me, but number one is there's no planet near Earth right now. And second of all, of course, there are asteroids and comets and other big asteroid from the Oort cloud and things that could come in here, but there's nothing on the radar at this point that's going to smash into Earth on September 23rd, 2017. And so, therefore, I'm going to tell you right now, if you are one of those people who really seriously think that the world is going to end because of some extra solar event is going to result in a big planet called Nibiru smashing into Earth. There's no evidence to indicate that at all, so don't worry about it. The weather is another story, of course. We do have to worry about Yellowstone supervolcano. There are several other supervolcanoes that are kind of warming up their pipes. So yeah, and of course we do got the New Madrid Fault, and which is near where CP lives. That could become a really big seismically active again. We know this. We know that the sun could easily belch out a couple more extreme X-class solar flares and potentially devastate the modern infrastructure. But to go ahead and worry about dead setting is something I'm not going to do, because it never happens. Never happens. And even the Lord says, do not try to set dates, because it's not gonna. I'm not gonna set dates with you, and I don't expect you to set dates with me. So that's the way the Lord says. But anyway, for now, I thank you very much for watching this very interesting live chat. And now I gotta go ahead and give it a name, give it a proper title, and get it out the door. Okay? See you soon. Bye-bye. And I never